think, are we live?
We are live.
It's red. Yeah, it's red. Okay. Do we know if Shelby is coming? So okay. Okay, well, that's not unusual, but that's fine. And Margaret texted me that she wasn't going to make it. Right. I knew that. Okay. All right. Well, we'll go ahead and get started. Welcome to I can see a few heads, but the thing I can't see everybody. But we welcome to the December meeting of the Conway Historic District Commission. First off, with the roll call, I'm Steve Hurd, Chairman.
Emily Walter, Vice Chair.
Liz Hamilton.
Marie Kaysen.
And we, like I said, we're missing one we think is coming. We've got a quorum, so we're good to go. But the first thing we need to do, we have minutes from last time. If everybody's looked at them, we need to
Make a motion to approve.
Okay.
A second.
All right. All those in favor?
Aye.
All right. Yeah, if we don't have another one, I have to vote. So I know. Yeah, unless Shelby gets here, or there's a tie. So all right. So we've got two items in the ACP Robinson District and two in the old Conway Design Overlay District. But the rules of presentation are the same with everything. When you come up to discuss your project, when we call you, we need your name and address, where who you are and where you live here in Conway or wherever it may be. And for the record, we do that. And then tell us briefly what you've got going. We've got our agenda with everything here, but tell us what's going on. Then I will ask for those in favor and those maybe speaking against as just our proper way to do it. And then we'll bring it into us and discuss it and probably have questions more for you as an applicant. So with that said, first one on our agenda tonight is 812 Davis Street. We have an accessory structure.
While she's stepping up, Shelby forgot.
Shelby forgot.
Yeah,
Okay.
and she asked if she needed to come, but if we have a quorum.
We have a quorum.
Yeah,
We're
she said
fine.
she couldn't be here for 15 minutes. So.
Okay. Sorry. We have a forgetful commissioner.
No worries.
It's a different night.
Yeah. All right. So name and address.
Hi, I am Jenny McNulty. I'm at 1724 Robinson Avenue and 812 Davis Street. I was here a few months ago. I'm currently doing the accessory structure in the back is being renovated and expanded. That's been going on. And now moving to the next part of the project is to add an additional accessory structure, so a storage building in the back, and then also wanting to replace the existing fence with a new fence around the property.
Also,
Yes.
what the 812 Davis and 17 was one property of 1724 Robinson, but you split it because of the.
Well, it was split into two. I split them and I just
Oh,
replatted it.
you
differently.
Okay.
So
Okay.
it has
but
been
you've
two pieces this whole time.
Gotcha.
It just
Okay. That part I
looks
wasn't
like
sure about.
one. And as we discussed it the last time I was up here, I'm still treating it as one property, but obviously because of codes and all of that, we have to replat it, and it's two
Gotcha.
different addresses. So
You're the
so
owner.
yes.
Okay. All right. So go ahead. Tell us about the 812 project.
Okay, so the storage building would be in the back. It would actually go along, you see the church parking lot, it would go on the inside of the fence on that back area. So it would be behind it's the little green block in my very sophisticated drawing. So that would be the storage
it
building.
explains
so it's
it
right
nicely.
behind. Yes. And we moved it, I found out there was a 10-foot utility easement on the other fence line, so we had to move it from that fence line to that one in order to get it in the right place. So this addresses all the easement issues. It is under the percentage per square footage based on the primary structure. And I know when I submitted, it has all of the supply list, the materials list with it as well.
Okay. Just before we go, did you see the recommendations? Have you read those?
I have not seen the
Okay,
recommendations.
well,
no.
we'll talk about that when we start talking about ourselves. Anything more to tell us about that? As we've got, like I said, we've got everything here, but anything you want to?
Correct. No, with the storage building, and we are doing a lot to make it look similar to the primary structure, so that it doesn't look as much like a storage building, but more like another pretty structure on the property. So that's one thing we did to try to make sure some of the stuff matched the primary structure.
Details. Okay. All right. Let me put it to anybody else speaking either way, and then we'll start talking. Anybody else here to speak in favor of the project? Anybody here speak in opposition to the project? Nobody stand up. All right. With that, then we'll talk. So you've not seen the recommendations?
I have not. No, sir.
Okay. They mainly deal with mainly the
Great.
fences and all that, and the heights and the requirement. I just it sounded like it was so specific. You probably knew what was happening, but it. I wish you could. Can you read that from
I
here?
can, yes, I can read,
Okay.
yeah.
We got. Let's see. Well, first one is the materials. And that's again. Sounds like you at least on the same page with that. The wood or wood-like materials such as hardy siding should be used for the fascias and soffits. Again, it's probably similar to what you were told or needed to do on the addition to the
Correct, and
to the
hardy
garage
siding
buil-
was on
R-
the materials list, so
Right,
yes.
Okay, then the new fence to the side yards and rear yard that you wanted ornamental metal. Is that correct? Is that something you were wanting to do?
Correct, yes.
Okay.
So the goal is to do metal around, and I submitted 3 different styles because obviously, as you guys know right now, materials keep going up and down. So I
Yeah.
honestly don't know which of those 3 I'm going to be able to afford. And
Or
so
combination of. Is
so
what,
the goal is to do a combination of those.
right.
As you guys can see, the back, I think it's the east,
Yeah,
is
the-
where the church parking lot is. So the goal of doing the brick wall, I know that usually you guys want some opacity on the top part, but I've got an entire huge parking lot that
Yeah.
is super busy on Sundays, super busy on Wednesdays back there. So the goal was to actually make that more of a privacy wall than a fence. So that was my reasoning for the brick to be that height
Okay.
back there.
Yeah, and I understand that. I thought we had eased up on our top 2 feet of open I thought we.
Yeah, not in Robinson.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. I thought it was.
Oh, yeah, Robinson,
Okay.
we still
All
had
right. All right. Okay. Well, that's the details to be worked out on that. I mean, obviously, as far as, are you wanting a solid fence that high?
On the
At
back,
6
yeah,
feet?
just because it's backing up to a parking lot, which has no historic value whatsoever.
Yeah.
So we've already kind of missed the boat on the historic
Um,
aspect there, so.
Yeah. I mean, if our guidelines are that you have to have the top 2 feet of 50% opacity, we're gonna have to deal with that.
Okay, so you're
But-
saying I could do solid brick for 4 feet and then
Right.
the top 2 feet has
Right.
to have some kind of
Yeah.
layer,
Yeah.
okay.
If you did the metal like you're doing everywhere else on the shorter fences, that would tie it all together.
Right.
As a topper, and then just grow ivy. No,
Okay.
I'm kidding. I'm kidding. But but it's something like along those lines. You deal with that, and you have to get approval. But that may be an option as far as matching what you're doing on the rest of the property, because you're bringing a lot of fence in, to replace the fence that's there. Correct, all the
Right,
grid
the
fence and everything
mismatched
else.
wood,
Yeah,
There's
yeah.
like 3 different types of fencing
Yeah.
there right now.
Okay. Then that one being a piece, that east side, that's your kind of what you like more privacy than anything. But the others, the front yard fencing along Davis, it's got not to exceed 42 inches in height. I think you on your note on the other one, we'll get there in a minute, but it was like 4 feet. But 42 inches is our like the front yard fencing, picket fence kind of height kind of thing. So 48 instead of 42 instead of 48 is what's going to kind of be the norm, other than the privacy fences around the sides. That's what's in the recommendations on the other one. And they're going to these kind of tie together as far as
Right.
that.
So
Let go.
my question on that was, I know the guidelines state that they're not recommended for that. It didn't say anywhere it said it could not be used. I understand that's the ideal, but because of, I know this is a different situation.
Talking heights, or are you talking
Heights,
Okay.
correct, yes. The prefabricated fencing doesn't come in the 3.5-foot height. So if you're going to get that, as far as metal fencing, which your guidelines suggest metal fencing for a larger home,
Mhm.
It would have to be specially fabricated, which of course increases the cost
Mm.
astronomically. So, which is why I suggested the 4 foot. Also, because of the existing trees, that's one reason why the fence, to avoid messing with the trees, which I know is another thing that you guys really point
Yeah.
out in your guidelines.
Sure.
That's why I placed the fence kind of towards the front yard. Otherwise, I'm going to have to fence out, unless I'm going to destroy the trees, I'll have to fence out a huge section of my backyard. So I'm losing half of my backyard if I don't go into the front yard. Most of that fencing is not directly in front of the house. It actually goes around, so you'll still see the majority of the front of the house. It's not directly in front there.
Yeah, it tucks in both sides of it, doesn't it, with a drive in that open spot in
Right.
the yard.
Correct. And because of existing, again, because it's been treated as one property forever, there's existing landscaping, there's existing concrete
Sure.
patios, like all the stuff
Sure.
is kind of, it's a little tricky to go with a traditional fence
Yeah.
layout.
Yeah. So are we, this is to the table. Are we 42 or 48? Is that, what do we, let me get I would ask. Okay.
They have like railings, but it's not a fence. It would,
Yeah.
unless it's like, the cheaper, like you just stick in the yard from Lowe's.
Yeah. Yeah.
Which I can do, but.
Yeah. You have a question?
No, it's just regarding the fences, typically standard heights. Anything else you have to get special ordered, and it is very expensive. I can vouch for that.
And it's, currently.
Almost
there's
cost prohibitive.
Right. Currently,
Mhm.
there's a terrible 6-foot old wooden privacy fence right
Yeah,
there.
yeah,
I'm trying
no.
to make it look better.
Because it was the backyard of the house, even though it's two properties. Yeah, that's a long time ago.
Is there a shorter option, like a
No,
36-inch fence?
That's what she's saying. It's the 48 is yeah.
Correct, yes.
Which is this all metal option?
Correct, yes. Yeah. So, like I said, I don't know if you go to Lowe's and get the stuff you just stick in the ground, like the
Well, no, yeah,
template,
we're not.
But
we're-
that's not a pretty or long-term solution.
Yeah, no, I
so,
know. No,
Yeah.
So it's a shame they don't offer a different height. I'm just kind of, I guess, surprised they don't, as an option. But you have to deal with that. Let's go through them and see what just find the points of resistance and then
Okay.
see what we got. Okay, landscaping. You need to, if there's going to be additional landscaping, you need to provide a landscape plan at some point. If you don't have thoughts on that right now, that's going needs to be done at some point, though. Correct. So
Okay, what do you consider landscaping? Like if I plant a bush, does that have to be approved or? Okay,
um,
so you're saying if the purpose of the landscaping is screening, then it has to be approved. But if it's just planting, okay, gotcha. Okay,
yeah, if it becomes an element of a visual blocking kind of element, yeah.
Okay.
Paving the driveway is required. I think you drawn what looks like the tire strips.
Yes, my beautiful
What-
drawing is
Yeah.
concrete.
Well, no,
strips.
you're fine. You're fine. I know what you were drawing. It wasn't that bad. But you're doing the tire strips though, right?
Yes,
Okay.
correct.
That's good. And that's encouraged, or hope
Correct,
that's
yes.
good. And the only thing in here is with the allowable driveway width is 10 feet. So just deal with it that way. But if you're doing strips, that it's less concrete, not like a land strip. So, talking about the should pave with a sealed surface. Concrete that works for that. Then mechanical equipment be placed in a manner that's not seen, and that you already had to deal with that on the house you're adding on to the
Correct.
so-
That is, yes, that's
Yeah.
already.
okay. But
addressed.
again, that's something we just put on on every one of them just in case there's more mechanical stuff. So really, the fencing issue is the biggest problem as far as the 6-inch difference for what you'd like and what's allowed.
Correct. And also, I have a question there. It says parking shall be to the side or rear of the primary structure.
Oh, I missed that one. Sorry.
So because of where the trees are, I can't do that unless we tear down the huge tree that's there.
Well, how deep is that driveway going to be? How long is the driveway going to be?
I don't know.
It's in the range of a normal driveway to a house. a couple of cars at least should fit there, right? Would that suffice? And one on the street maybe if need be, since there's not an alley. So I think the way you're configuring it will probably be in the range of normal. A couple
Okay,
of,
maybe I misunderstood.
It's
So
the primary structure. It's on the side of the primary structure.
meaning the house
are
that's
you
there.
saying,
yeah.
sorry,
Yeah, the new
Yeah.
are you saying the driveway can be where it's placed on the drawing, but any additional parking would need to be to the side? Is that what it is? Or are you saying the driveway
think-
needs to be moved?
I think it was the way I read it was the additional parking.
Okay, I was confused.
Yeah, yeah.
Understood.
No, I think
Okay.
that's the way, are we correct?
Perfect, okay.
That anything beyond what goes in the driveway would need to be off to the side or behind, whatever, okay. And that, if she's not planning on having that kind of
No, we're good. Okay.
parking and, yeah, okay.
Okay.
So the driveway where you want it's fine.
Okay,
And that
that's where I
should
was
hold, that
confused.
should do, again, it's gonna be like a normal
Yeah.
the ones next door, be just like that, so.
Perfect.
Okay, so like I said, back to the fencing is the one thing we need to talk about. The options, you've shown options of brick or brick and fencing or fencing is obviously brick, you can do whatever height you want.
Right.
Is that something you
Based
thought
on the
about?
pricing that I've looked at so far, I'm probably going to be going more with metal than,
Yeah.
and the brick would be mostly on that back wall for privacy.
Right. Hmm. Pardon me, they're talking. I guess I'm mildly wanting to argue the 42 to 48 inch height on for a front yard.
Or,
Wait,
and it
that
says
are
or.
taller than that? Yeah. Okay. Right. 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 Right.
So
No,
it would,
yeah,
be, it would be primarily metal, which would be see-through and not obstructing.
Yeah.
Right.
I mean, if it was a brick wall and it was going too tall, that's one thing, but or a solid fence. But being open, like if that's what you're doing, if what we're seeing is what you're gonna be doing, the 6 inch difference, I don't think it's not gonna be a prominent problem, visual problem.
What's your plan for the fencing on the north side? Because we talked about the front, we talked about the east, so the side yard.
So the north is between me and the property beside,
Yes.
would be the metal as well.
Metal as well.
Yes. So ideally, it would be, except for the backing up to the parking lot, and that is only going to be that way, again, for privacy purposes.
Mhm.
The other ones would be primarily metal. If I can afford it, I will do the brick columns interspersed as I can, but like I
Right.
said, that may not be possible at the end of this
Right.
project.
Right. Sure. Sure.
Are you stuck on having the taller fence?
I mean, the point is to keep my kids and my dog in the backyard. So for safety purposes, yes. I mean, that's the goal.
The reason I'm asking is because we do have a fluctuation in prices. So when you go to do this, whomever's going to do your fence could simply price them at what the recommendation is, and then price them at standard height, the 4-foot height, and then see if at that point you can it might be cheaper at that point.
Well, I was
So-
told because it would have to be,
correct.
it
I
would
know.
have to be specially
Right.
made, unless again, you're going to get the cheap, just stick in the
Exactly.
yard. It
I understand.
obviously is going to go up in price.
Just asking.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm just asking for due diligence.
Right.
Yeah, the due
understood.
diligence situation. Yeah. Not saying that you need to, but sometimes it can surprise you.
Right.
Have you gotten several bids from different people or just one?
I have one bid and I'm waiting on another bid.
Yeah.
I guess like I said, if you're going to go with that fence, what we're looking at is what you're doing. As far as a visual barrier or whatever else, that shouldn't be an issue, 6 inches. It'd be great if you happen to find out, I can get 42 for the same price, that and do it. But since we do have a little leeway, I don't have a problem going that way with it. But I'm not gonna. I mean, it's
I don't have a problem with it either.
Especially if we're cleaning up the fences that are mismatched.
yeah, I know.
I
Considering
promise
what's
it'll look
there.
a lot better than what it is right now.
Yeah, considering what's there. But that's
That's just my gut reaction.
okay.
I'm not one
Well-
to fight the guidelines, when I pick my battles and all the things.
Yeah. Yeah, that's right. I mean, again, if it was a shout, we would be done talking about it. But I think in this case, and it's not next time somebody else might not do that just because of circumstances. But I think in this instance, it's because the fence you're using, mainly, if you're an open fence, even with the brick pier at the corner, and it's still going to be, that same open fence. So with that said, I think
Did we ever ask if anyone's here to speak in
I
opposition?
did. I
Oh,
did.
okay, I missed that.
Yeah, no, we're good.
Man,
We're good.
why don't I do- I like
No,
owls.
that door's closed.
Okay.
So otherwise, the things I think on here, materials you're going to do in line with what you've already done, and that was a recent thing for us. And I mean, again, just verify with them the fence, landscaping. If you go with some barrier type landscaping, verify. The driveway we talked about. I think the parking issue is not an issue now if you're just doing driveway
Correct,
in.
yes.
Okay. All right. I think
But any
that
parking is going to be in the driveway. This
Right.
is not a garage, right?
Right, there's
So
no
any
garage.
parking is
Yeah.
going to be right in front.
right.
of
Yeah,
the side
a
house.
couple of spots, like a typical driveway, a couple of spots available. The street's there too for not full time, but it's and Davis is wide down there. It's not like it's
There's
fencing
also a
off.
huge parking lot behind the house, so.
So, okay, with that, I think we're
Can I make one more thought or suggestion or observation? On the west elevation, you have one side that's a hip and then one side that's a gable. Is there a reason that we can't gable that? Since that is the prominent elevation that you'll see from the street, even though it's in the backyard.
I'm trying to get every square footage of storage that I possibly can because I'm limited. So that's why. I mean, it's a storage building. I'm trying to do better than a Lowe's pre-bought.
But I'm just
So-
asking, like the front elevation, and actually, if you're storing anything up in the rafters, this would give you a little bit more storage space. But that where you have your slope elevation at 9 and 12, I think is what it is. If you can just square that off, does that
Yeah.
make sense?
if
Sorry,
I can point to
You've got-
things. Let me see.
got a gable,
okay, yes.
but on that at that front there, you've got a hip. If we could just make that a gable also, instead of sloping down, be
If I'm reading
Gable.
it right. I can punch-
Okay,
I
sorry,
can- No, it's all right.
okay.
I'm not familiar with I'm very visual person, thank you.
Yeah,
So
no, I
this
see
is your
here.
roof plan.
I don't
if
think
this
so.
roof could come here,
You mean on this?
just like this one's a gable and a gable.
Do it right
here,
next.
which is
Yeah,
the
the same
same
one.
Yeah, but
This
she's gonna
has
have
already
to
been
repeat name and
constructed.
Yeah, I
all
know.
that crap. But yeah,
All this is
Well,
already
it's-
built.
Yeah,
Just
this
'cause
is
it
the
talks
one y'all
about
approved
heights.
last time.
yeah,
So,
yeah. Well, we've already set a precedent.
This is the storage building.
Is it the
that
same
will
thing
go
though,
behind.
right? That's the elevations that we're looking at here.
This is for the storage building, so this is the new structure that I'm asking
What-
about
Yeah,
currently.
so same thought, just different
Okay.
different doodle. That
If that,
makes sense?
Okay, yes, I will.
oh
look-
wait, so we don't have a plan of it.
Yeah, that's what I was mistaken. I thought it was.
Yeah,
plan
I
of the
get that now
sketch.
too. I see that now. I don't have a plan, so it's just to turn the corner, right, with two gables coming out of it. Okay, yeah, never mind. With that,
Gable.
Yeah.
One ridge line, so you don't have the hips on the end of it.
Okay, will that be written down somewhere so I can explain that to somebody who understands? Thank you.
like your brother.
So what was
Yes.
the change in that?
Just that the roof can be a continuous gable and eliminate the hip on one side of it.
Yes,
Just
yes.
to simplify
Yes.
the massing of it.
And it'd be a
To
T.
be
It'd be a
more-
T. Okay. All right. It's just a little architectural detail to clean up.
Got it, understood.
We've had some houses come in like that, gable at the street and it hips at the back, and it's kind of strange. I mean, so it's
Okay.
something I think this is the third or fourth meeting in a row we've had to address that, so it's kind of keeps coming up. But okay, with that said, everybody's writing the revisions down so we can talk about them.
Are we done with the discussion? Is there any
It's your pleasure.
motion to approve the project with the staff recommendations, with the exception of we're going to be lenient on the 42-inch height.
Wow,
also
48. Allow
48
48.
inches. Mhm.
Maximum 48.
Maximum 40.
Got it.
And if there's brick pillars, that'd be great, but, and then also add the recommendation that the roof would be changed to a single gable roof, no hips.
Everybody
Second.
got that? Okay, got a motion and a second. More discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Have to vote. I hate that. Okay, all right. Since you are attached to the next one, And again, it sounds silly, but for the record, name and address again, and then we'll get started.
It's Jenny McNulty, 1724 Robinson Avenue.
All right, thank you. And now this is just a fence this time, correct?
Yes.
All right. And you have a drawing that has your heights that we're looking at. And that's kind of, I mean, it's connecting
It will
to,
connect to the other one you guys just
right.
saw,
I'm
correct?
not
Yes.
putting words in your mouth, but it's so the 4 foot height will be,
The metal.
need to go, it'll continue.
Correct, yes.
But you've got a 6 foot height on that east side again. You got a little piece that's adjacent to the parking lot. So to continue whatever that is back there,
Correct.
right?
yes.
Okay.
So that 42-inch high, I'm sorry.
48.
The
Yeah.
Oh, no, I'm talking about the 6 foot high. Did we approve that on the previous one, along the parking lot?
Yeah, I mean, it says as is with the 2 foot top.
So,
Yeah,
It
that's,
goes with brick, it'd be 2 feet on top, 4 foot brick, 2 foot on top brick.
Yeah.
Same thing here. So this 6 foot fence.
it'd be the same thing. Whatever it is back there, it'd be the
Has
same
to have
thing.
some kind of.
Yes, ma'am.
2 foot of metal.
Yes.
And then that 4 foot section would be the 4 foot of brick metal. Have we talked about what that little length is going to be? Okay.
Gotcha. Yeah. Yeah, so the combo stops, the 6 foot stops at that corner, and then it keeps going towards Robinson as lower fence.
Right, and that, my plan was to stagger it down
Right,
as
right.
we went towards, once you
Okay.
got past the main fence.
Okay.
So, sorry, just to clarify, on the brick fence, I know the 4 feet can be solid, but above that, I've seen the fences where it's still brick, but it's got like bricks misplaced.
Pulls it, yeah.
Yeah, is that an okay?
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
so I heard
Because if you're
somebody say
doing,
metal.
if you're doing that, you can, it's in the 50%, it's a 50-50 thing almost, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, that would, there you go. See, just thought about it for a minute. You're good.
Okay.
No, that works. That's a good idea for that. Okay, so anything else that we need to know? Because the recommendations are ditto on the 6 foot fence, the 4 foot, 2 foot thing. Side yard fencing on Davis be same style as the 812 Davis. Again, and the other part where you've shown it drawn. I mean, so these were simpler. It's just fence only. Anybody have any questions? Wait, just a minute. Anybody else here to speak in favor of the project? It's got to do it. Anybody here speak in opposition to it? Now we can talk details.
Okay, so on number 2, do we need to change that not to exceed 48 inches?
Right. And as on number 3 as well.
Yeah. Okay.
So this line that's showing here, we have the dashed blue lines, and then we have that one straight line. That's not a fence, right?
Correct, not a fence.
Except for that little tail that comes down. Wait.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I'm talking
Yeah,
on the
I'm
west
saying,
side.
except for that though, you're staying back at the back corner of the house. You're not coming up forward. So we're
Correct,
all
and that would be
all those
staggered
issues
down
are fine.
again.
Yeah, that's fine. Okay.
Okay, so I'll make a motion to approve the recommendations with the exception, the change on number 2 to be everything stays the same except not to exceed 48 inches for the fence, and number 3, everything stays the same except not to exceed 48 inches on that fence.
A second.
Okay, any more discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
That'll do it. Whatever COA you need from them, I guess when they get things processed, then permits will have it. And I mean, I usually next day, but I mean, whatever you think.
Okay, thank you all.
Thank you
Thank you.
much. Okay, next we put our overlay district hats on, and we have window tinting, 1201 Oak Street. Oh, surprised me. Okay, name and address, and then we'll get going. Sorry.
Grace Rains. My home address is 34,000 Oak Circle, Conway.
fine.
I'm here on behalf of 1201 Oak
sure.
Street. So
We had his home address is what they all the commissions do that for.
Yeah.
Whatever. So, okay, all right. So what do you have?
So I have the Arnold Elevation Center, which was recently renovated by Conway Corporation. Prior to the renovation, there was tint on the building. However, when we replaced the windows, we didn't put tint back because in the plans, we did have plans to put louvers on the windows. But because of some budget cuts that we had to make on the overall, the overall renovation ended up being about $2.7 million. And so we had to make some cuts because of COVID increases in pricing. And so the louvers had to go. And so because of that, we are getting some intense sunlight in on the east side of the building in the mornings. And we had some issues with heating and with just the sun being blinding
Sure.
coming in those windows.
Yeah.
So essentially, the meeting rooms on that side of the building and the event space are unusable during certain times of the year and certain times of the day because of the temperature and the blinding light. So Frauenhoven came out to assess the situation and see if they could fix it with air conditioning. So we added an additional supply grill in the south office closest to the event space since it was the hottest. And we rebalanced to push as much air out of both offices without creating, other areas where on a zone system. And that was not able to fix the problem. So they also came in and redid the ducting to airflow. That didn't fix it either. So the rooms still reach about 90 degrees, in the heat of the summer.
Yeah.
So, because it's just a big wall of a window. Like if you see those, they're really nice offices to be in, but it is a whole wall window that's getting
Right.
full sunlight. So Frauenhoven didn't feel like there was anything really we could do from an air conditioning perspective other than putting in a whole new unit just specifically for those two rooms, which is just absolutely cost prohibitive given that we have kind of open ducting in the space and all that. It just wasn't
Sure.
going to work. So they recommended that we either pursue tent or blinds to block the sunlight. We did receive a quote for blinds. However, that's more expensive than the tent option. It would completely block the view into the building, which I know is kind of against what we're trying to do here today. And then also because those are different offices from the outside of the building, if we did the blinds, it would kind of be an uneven look. I can't promise that everybody's going to put the blinds
No,
at the same
I
level.
get that. Well, and you're also still letting heat into the space. It's just
Yeah.
that's fine. Yeah, I get that. That's not a problem.
Well, and it's like if those are, it just doesn't solve the problem we're trying
Yeah.
to solve essentially. So same thing with the UV tint. If I just do a UV without any kind of tinting on it, it's not going to block the sunlight that creates, issues
know.
with people being able to see. So we looked at that as well. So that's kind of why we've gone with the direction of the tint, is that, it makes the most sense from, a visual standpoint. Plus, we want to be able to see out. We want people to be able to see in.
Yeah.
So the only, I saw the staff recommendation.
Okay, I was going to ask you that.
Yeah, my only ask that you guys consider outside the staff recommendation is just that you consider allowing us to have the increased tint on the east side versus the south side. The south side window, we only have one window on the south side, and it's not really causing me any problems. It's those east windows where the sun comes in the morning. So that would be my only.
Yeah. So go.
I'm sorry. Yeah. So
Well,
it said first story south facade windows may use 15%.
Right.
If we could consider the first story east facade windows using 15%, because there's only one window on the south side of our building, and it's not a problem, if that makes sense.
Well, we've got the south facade is 15. The recommendation 15%. The other first story windows are 30%, which is more.
Not with tint.
I'm thinking backwards on it, but
Yeah, it's. I got confused as
Yeah.
well.
yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I got
Sorry,
confused.
sorry,
As,
yeah.
So it's twice as. So it's yeah.
That's-
I
okay,
got confused
that's
as
fine.
well with the
Yeah,
whole
that's
thing because when
fine.
they sent me the thing, I got
knew that.
confused, and I was.
Well, again, we don't have, we don't have the guidelines, do we? As far as that, I've never, so it's, we can set that. I know half the day it's blistering sun coming in there. So in the 30, yeah.
And on the front side of the building, we have a big, pretty tree up there this time of
Yeah.
year. It's like I don't want a lot of tint on that side because I still would like people to see like our Christmas tree when it comes
Right,
up, and
right.
on that front side of the building, people will be able to see in as they drive by on the Oak Street corridor. It's just that east side. I need the more intense tint for that sun.
Do, yeah, because it's Okay.
None of this would be opaque glass, like spandrel glass or.
Yeah.
Degree office sounds terrible.
Oh, I know. And I would rather tint than depend on blinds or
Yeah.
shades. It's treating it after it comes through the glass. But I mean, I don't mind it being a little more.
I don't
More
either. I mean,
intense.
there's a lot of buildings down there that are tinted.
Yeah, so there's the event space and the 2 meeting rooms. So the 2 first windows are the ones that are the worst. There's one other window on that wall that's not an event space or a meeting room. The only thing there is, I don't know if you're going to notice a difference that like there's 1, 2, 3 windows that are intensely
Yeah.
tinted and one that's half. Like I wasn't going to call y'all out that y'all also were in there and it was a little hot, and that's not the summer.
Yeah.
I just think down that wall, it may look a little odd
I
because
was
it's
going
going
to
to be
say,
like
I think it
1,
needs to be
2, 3
treated as
windows.
one.
And
one
those
unit.
3 windows all look kind of the same. The one event space window, it's that middle picture right there. The one event space I think could be treated differently than the other 2, but those 3 kind of look the same sitting there. And so my preference
And
would be for
it's-
them to all be the
we're
same.
looking at it from the outside, not the inside, and
Yeah.
that's what we're dealing with, you know. So I mean, I don't mind thinking of them all the same.
And so, and I'm sorry, the event space spans this corner, right? So
Yeah,
the
so-
event space has a window from on the south and the east.
Yeah, so yeah, it's the one. Yeah, it has one on the south, one on the east, and then the 2 meeting rooms kind of continue down the building. They're the 2 that are getting the hottest. The event space is the space that they used, which it's not as bad unless you're like right in front of that window. It's just about a third of my room is in front of that window, so it cuts it down the middle. So that's the problem there. But yeah, that front window kind of closest to Oak Street is the only one that's not an event space. Or a meeting room of any kind. It's kind of the open space up there.
I think you're right.
Yeah.
I think having the facade be all consistently.
Yeah, I mean, but the front, I don't think that you'll notice if the front, like if Oak Street is a lesser tint, and
Yeah,
we,
well,
and we
I don't.
That's what I
Well,
was getting at.
that's
Like,
the.
And I was going to say, if the event space has a south and an east, again, just aesthetically and being in the
Yeah.
space, I wouldn't want one window darker than the other.
I would agree
And
from
so
the
the same
inside it's
thing-
going to look odd.
Right.
Yeah.
What so you're saying that the event space east window is not as problematic as the rooms down the way?
It is still. I mean, I would.
No, tinting will help. Any tinting will
Yeah,
help.
I mean, it's not as big. It does not receive sunlight the same way. Those other rooms, the full
Right.
span of that
Right.
wall is.
What if the
Yeah.
meeting room windows, the south and east meeting room windows, were a tint, and then because the other part of the building stepped back, and they were what they need to be. If it's different than the meeting room windows, they're not all in line with each other on in the same plane. You see what I'm saying? Just as got one unit and another unit kind of thing. I don't know if that helps. I mean, if you need full tinting like the other rooms in the meeting room, then never mind. But it treat that it's a box. It's pulled out from the main part that where your rooms are.
I mean,
down
I
the
do
way.
fear that it's not. Like it's like I'm going to spend the money on the tent, and it's not going
Oh,
to
I
be
know,
enough for the
I know.
rooms,
It's-
you
I
know.
don't-
So
I
it's
don't
like
want- I don't
if
want it to be a
y'all are
gamble.
okay with it,
No, I don't want it to be a
with us
gamble.
going up on the tent, I mean, and it all matching down the facade of that building, my preference would be for kind of that wraparound down there to be
The same.
15, and then just to do the front oak as
You need
whatever
to-
the
do you-
guideline, was
I
here.
mean, do you need to have it tinted on oak? I mean, it's north. There's no sun. If we get sun on that side coming in, we've got some issues that are bigger than
Probably
tinting.
what we'll do is I don't want it to look too odd from the inside of the building because what I'm dealing with
Right.
is a big
Sure.
open co-working space.
Sure.
And so I'm afraid if I do no tint at all, you're going to see like tint.
Yeah,
And then I've got kind of
that's true.
open.
That's
So,
possible.
but I mean, I think the 30% tint on that front, I don't think you'll see that much
Okay,
of a difference, and
that's
you'll still
fine.
be able to see in. So I was thinking kind of 30% up there. And then the smaller windows across the back of the building, because they're all in event room or in rooms,
Mhm.
we're probably not going to do any tint at all on
Okay.
those. Other than we have one office upstairs that does get quite a bit of sunlight, but it's
Yeah.
an upstairs, it's not a downstairs, so it shouldn't cause a problem from like a walkability, visibility
Right,
standpoint.
right. All that said, what are we?
Sorry, I'm throwing a lot out.
No,
at
no,
you.
you're fine. Just,
I think you're fine, and I think we all understand what the goal is.
Yeah.
So we want all of the windows on the east to be the same.
that's fine. 8, less 10. Yeah, it could be the 30 or
Yeah,
whatever.
the 30 versus the 50.
15%.
Yeah.
Okay, just so we know.
Yeah.
Second story window would be, and the only other thing I would say is that whatever you do on the east side, I would want that to be replicated on the second story window, like the event space, and then what happens right above it.
Yes. So yeah, so you, if I do the tent below, you want the tent above, basically, is that?
Yeah,
If
that's
that's the
fine.
goal is to tenant, then I'd
Yeah,
rather
I mean,
do the same.
we, right now, that space up there is unfinished space, and so we haven't used it. So I'm sure the same problem is happening up there. So if y'all are okay with me not coming back here and asking the same thing when that space gets finished out, I'm okay with going ahead and doing, and then that way it all matches
Yeah.
the same. The only one, so the back of the building, which you can see from that one there, which would be the west side of the building, the only ones on that wall that we would want to tent, there's one office space up there that gets quite a bit of sunlight in the afternoons, and it kind of heats it up and also is kind of blinding, but it's an upstairs window, so I don't know if that matters to y'all necessarily what it looks like compared to the others.
It says second story can use any tinting.
Yeah, the recommendations is any tinting. So
Yeah, so I mean, since it doesn't have any,
basically tint it to be comfortable,
yeah, okay.
you know, up there.
So, my second recommendation, five windows may use other windows.
Do you
Is
want,
that in line with what
That's
we're
where,
saying?
that's what you were saying, yeah.
do you want it to be south and east so that the side with the event space and the
I think
side, because I
the-
only have one south facing or two south facing windows, an upstairs and a downstairs, and then I have those east. They're in the same room. Does that make sense?
So all south and north.
South and east.
I mean, south and
South
east,
and east will
yeah.
be the same.
I need y'all to know I had to pull out a compass for this meeting today.
So all south and east windows to be up to 30%
First floor.
first floor. Yeah, that's number 2. So just
Right.
combine 2 and 3.
Yeah.
It was 15.
Up to 30%.
So the number 2 would be first story south and east facade windows may use 15%
Exactly,
tinting, and then
exactly.
other first story windows may use 30. Needs to stay the same because I
Exactly.
have those Oak
And then
Street
second
ones.
story.
And then second
whatever
story,
you- tinting of. To
to,
your
it'll be to my benefit for those
Right.
to match.
Right,
So
right.
whatever it is, I'll just make
Right.
it match.
That sounds fine. That's a lot of discussion over tinting windows.
Somebody else is going to have to
So
make the
I
motion.
make a motion
Yeah.
to approve the recommendation, to approve the project with staff recommendations, with the revision to recommendation number 2, that the south and east facade windows may use 15% tinting. And number 3, to be revised, that other windows may use up to 30% tinting. Is that accurate?
I think it is.
Guys, for your time.
You say 50 or 15?
Okay.
So we have a motion with what you just said.
I'll second.
Motion and a second. Any other discussion? We clear on the, get your notes.
I'll get them from her to
Okay.
clarify.
Okay. All right. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. There you go.
Thank you.
Okay, you're
Appreciate
welcome.
y'all's time.
All right, last one on our list is the 709 Pine Street, a new church facility.
Evening, Mr. Chairman, ladies. How's everybody?
Fine.
I am Rick Sowell, Sowell Architects. We're representing Ebenezer Christian Church. And I do have some of the gentlemen with me this evening from Ebenezer. The pastor, Tyler Kane, is with me. And obviously, these guys will speak. My address, 1315 North Street.
Thank you.
You bet. Obviously, these guys would speak in favor of it. If necessary, they'll be more than happy to come do that. But Tyler Kane's the pastor. He's with me. Perry Kelly, many of you guys may know him from around town. He's associate pastor there. And then I have one of the deacons there, Mr. Quentin Gary. So these guys are here obviously in support of the project. It's a small church. This is that T3 zoning transition zone that's located over on Pine Street. And so we have attempted to pull the building as close to the street as we can get it, at least the one on Factory. We're within 17 feet of that. I think the limit's 17 to 23, and so we chose 17. And then on the secondary street, we're 8 feet off the face of that. This little building that you're seeing, which by the way is constructed with all traditional materials, a lot of brick and hardy board and that type of thing, is probably the only phase they are ever going to do. However, we left space between the building and the parking so that we could add on in the future if we needed to, but it would just be built to the west of the existing building. I did read the comments. Obviously, the number one is the one I'm concerned about. And so let me propose something to you guys. I'm sorry, go ahead.
Let's get through the oppose and in favor of them when we talk about it, because I have my thoughts on it too, probably the same as yours. But so we'll do that. Anybody else here to speak in favor of the project? And you guys are welcome to come if you want to. Please, sir. Just like we said, name and address, and then.
Give a pastor a microphone.
I know. I was a little nervous about it, but we're fine. We're fine.
Tyler Kane, 411 Old Military Road here in Conway, Arkansas.
Okay.
Certainly, Mr. Chairman, we are certainly elephant elated and hippopotamus happy about going back to 709 Pine Street. And whatever this committee, they can give us any requirements and encouragement that we can, and we'll go back and make it happen. Thank you for allowing me this opportunity. I have my deacon back here and I have my associate pastor back here. They might want to come and share, but I'm just happy this project is on board. Get back to the
happy for you.
community.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Thanks so much. Anybody else want to speak in favor? You're not required, but
I don't think it's necessary, gentlemen. We know what
okay.
they would say.
Well,
don't we?
anybody here in opposition? You got to
Okay.
allow for everything. Nobody gets up, so we keep going. All right. So
Okay, back to item number one. Steve, hopefully you can agree with me on this.
yeah, I think we do, and I'm not, it's not like it was a bad thing. It's just looking at the layout of the plan, it's going to be hard to get. First off, the public entry on Factory Street.
Yes.
And the to me, this is the detailing that shows it's from Factory, is to me is in the range of being okay. It's a church and it's obvious a church, so not to contradict the stuff, but that's something it kind of stuck out to me a little bit that unless there's something I'm missing, I think that probably
You think that will suffice?
I mean, right now, without anybody else saying anything, I'm okay with that. But I've been talked down before by these people. So
I understand the requirement for opening it to the street, but the truth is that most of the people that are going to be walking in the doors of this church are parking in the parking lot, which is on the other side of the building. So if we put the entry on Factory side, then everybody that drove their car and parked their car would have to walk around to the front of the building. It does look like a church. It does make a good presentation to the street, I think. And so I was only going to suggest, maybe I shouldn't even bring it up. I was going to suggest that perhaps we take the covered area in front of the building, the porch cover, and maybe extend it northward and kind of create a little entrance structure there.
yeah, back to the Factory Street side. Just one note.
Okay.
If to I don't know. Sometimes you can go too far, but I mean, on the two wings, they're set back. If there were windows there, possibly. I mean, I know I love a chance to get some stained glass somewhere when I can, if that's an option. But that maybe that opens it up some as far as to the factory. Not open it up to see, but I delineate it a little bit more. But that's not.
That's just a suggestion. I mean, if you guys
Oh
require
no,
that,
that's just. I'm just throwing it out there. I'm not. That was
Okay.
just a suggestion to kind of mitigate that first comment.
Okay.
So no, I know that's not a. I don't it doesn't. It's again. I think.
All the windows.
Yeah, I know, and that's the thing. To me, it's like adding more that's probably not necessary. That's what I was saying.
Of course,
but-
most churches these days are trying to control their environment on the interior because most everything's projected now.
I know.
If you put the windows in, we're going to have to cover them up. Just to
Yeah,
darken
I know.
them, so-
Again, I didn't say it's a perfect solution. It's just
Right,
that
I
just
understand.
something that short of an entry. That
Is there going to be any signage on the church?
There will be.
Will that be on Factory, or what side will that be on?
I'm going to guess we're going to put it on all three sides. It would probably be just a low monument sign of some sort.
Oh,
We've not determined that at this point.
Yeah, okay. So let's see, landscape number 2, that's normal, the
Right.
landscape stuff, the mechanical equipment, and then the revised drawings of any kind to the planning director.
Okay.
I mean, really the discussion point was number 1. And I mean, you guys, I just kind of jumped in really before he did as far as what my thoughts were on that. And I think we're in agreement in that. But you suggested maybe the porch extending out towards Pine Street, possibly, something like that.
Yeah, and just creating
mean,
a little entrance structure
yeah.
there so you can come directly off the sidewalk.
Yeah. And that's not bad too. I mean, but what do you guys think about it? I mean, looking at the plan, I would be real hesitant about putting any kind of entry on that elevation, that Factory Street side. That's just,
I agree. I mean, you'd almost have to make it symmetrical.
yeah,
That's where I was kind of going at. I didn't know if they did a door here and then sign over
yeah,
here.
yeah. No, I think because you got an egress door in that corner on that
Yes.
south
Yeah. for
side,
egress
so
purposes.
that's covered, but it doesn't. I mean, it's taken care of as far as exit. I don't really know this. It's such a tight,
Public entry. Unless there's a rule that, I'm not inclined to recommend that we enforce the public entry along Factory Street or Pine Street for this matter.
Well, yeah, yeah. Well, and I get that. It's just that its presence is the elevation, and inside it's the altar and the back altar. So it's kind of, but we've got a drive right there beside it. There's going to be traffic back and forth. It's not. I'm walking to church is going to be something done by some people, but go ahead.
Is there a sidewalk along Pine Street?
I
Is
think
it-
you guys are going to require that, aren't you?
Yeah.
All of it.
Not us, but
around all
planning department will.
sides.
Yeah,
Of our
yeah.
But even if we leave the covered entry there, even if we just connect a sidewalk to it from Pine Street sidewalk to your front porch?
Yeah.
Would that
Yeah.
satisfy the pedestrian access?
I mean, just sidewalk would satisfy that, I think. But I think as is, it's I don't have a problem with it. I know. I mean, to me, covering it would be just for convenience of people but they're already walking on the sidewalk in the rain, so it's not. I wouldn't add that.
I don't think so. I'm just offering it as a solution.
Yeah, I don't.
I agree
We-
that it
I-
being not symmetrical would probably be less pleasing.
I know. I think if there's a sidewalk on the site to the sidewalk to the street, that's access.
Okay.
And it's on the ground. It's not. Symmetry is a nice thing. I mean, but that would maintain that. I mean, like I said, I think I don't know that. Right, and that's easy. So
And I'll make a motion to accept the recommendations from staff, but omitting number 1 completely from staff recommendation.
all that.
Mhm.
Okay, got a motion and a second. Any more discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Great.
Yeah,
Thank you very
simple
much.
stuff. Oh, good luck with it.
Bye.
Thank
you.
y'all. Thank you, sir. Our back page do we have to do something?
We don't have a secretary.
Who's not here?
Shelby.
Well, I
Did
mean,
not want to
Shelby
do
doesn't
that.
want to do it again,
Bless
and
her
we,
heart.
I know
Do that to her.
Marie won't be here, and Margaret's gone, so we've got Shane and the 3 of us, and I'm staying right here. Y'all, anyone of y'all want to do it? I know. What do we do with that? I
Like a
mean,
new person.
well, we have. I'm not to throw. Well, we're not going to say, "Hey, you're the secretary." We're going to. I got to talk to you about something.
We're going to say, hey,
No,
you.
it's a. Well, I mean, normally we. Well, and that's true. Normally we elect the officers sort of in January and kind of get because we have new people, coming and that. I don't mind waiting till then. I mean, if that's okay with you guys. Right. I know, and that's fine. We got a little transitionary time here, but were you taking notes?
Did we
too?
have applications? I mean, I always take notes, but I'm not.
No, but you've been taking the notes.
I've
We
been
have not had
taking
any
enough
applicants.
notes,
So we've
yeah,
got-
and then I'll get a
Oh, that's correct.
Yeah, it's changed a little. So she took notes tonight.
Mhm.
We'll consider minutes and I guess you get those
I'll
to
get that
them,
to
and then
Shelby.
in January we'll wing it somehow. But
Yeah, we'll figure it out.
We'll get somebody to take it. So if that's okay, I mean, does that satisfy our? We'll have a full contingent and we'll deal with secretary then. We may have one of the new ones that goes. Oh, okay. It wasn't so much just to get in the officers field. You just don't want to do the
We
minutes.
don't want to
Okay.
take an opportunity to wait
No.
for one of the new guys.
Yeah, I
or
know.
girls to.
Okay. So we have a
second.
motion and a second to table the secretary election till January. And I think one of those may come in going, I love being secretary. I can't imagine that, but that will. Yeah. Hey, you never know. Okay. With that said, I think we are done until January.
There's
Marie,
a motion on the table.
Huh?
There's a motion
Oh, I thought
on the table.
I'm sorry. I thought we were. So motion. Was there a second?
She
You
motioned,
seconded.
she seconded.
All those in favor? Sorry.
Aye.
Got ahead of myself. We want to thank Marie for her
Yes,
service.
thank you.
She's moving
It's been awesome.
Best
out
of
of the
luck.
county, so we got
Yeah.
but
What's
and
it
Margaret
about? Yeah.
West as well, who wasn't able to come tonight. But those are the two that are.
Oh, she's not coming back?
No, she decided not to re-up her
Mm.
second term. So
Right.
yeah, it was nice for her, good for her to be here for the 3 years. But so we have two that they're rolling off for one reason or another, and
Yeah.
we do appreciate your time.
Been
Marie,
great.
we really do. It's been
And knowledge.
and
Yeah,
knowledge, yeah.
thanks.
Yeah, so we'll have two new members, and Shane and Shelby will be.
And when
Okay,
will
cool.
the mayor's office announce the new members? Okay. Oh,
There was an issue with reopening anyway, yeah. Okay. Oh, that's right, that too. That's part of it too. That's right. Okay. All right, so we are done then. Do we want to make a motion, make
Make
it
a
official
motion to
since the
adjourn.
lights red? All those in favor of
Aye.
getting out of here? Thank y'all.